Zoophilia, Presentation 1, Jessica Castillo, CJ 3318. Zoophilia, bestiality, or sodomy, is experiencing sexual pleasure during sexual intercourse with animals. The contents that will follow this presentation consist of zoophilia and zoophiles, orientation towards animals, fantasies with animals, erotic views, the conclusion, and my reference. Let's generalize zoophilia before we begin. There are three main points that stand out throughout the presentation that generalize what is the meaning of zoophilia. Commonly defined as sexual attraction for animals, zoophilia does not necessarily involve sexual acts. Zoophiles can fall in love with animals and treat them as life companions. Zoophilia and zoophiles, throughout context referred to as zoophilia, there is potential to create an emotional bond with the animal. Zoophiles attempt to treat animals as equal as possible as a partner, along with kind acts and even code of honor, as a form to respect their sexual partner, that being the animal. That means that the people who are involved sexually with any animal, they create this idea that is somewhat acceptable to what the equal of being married to somebody else is, even though it's seen as morally wrong. Zoophilia as a sexual orientation. The following information that I'll be providing within this presentation has actually been provided by a UHD library website source. It is actually a study on sexual orientation towards animals provided by Henny Miletsky. Orientation towards animals. Sexual orientation to animals consists of a couple of components, including number 1, affectional orientation. People decide who they wish to bond with emotionally. That means that for the people who belong to the title of zoophilia, they decide just like regular individuals do to decide on another human. There's things that they look into and there's things that they feel attracted to. The second one being sexual fantasy. People decide which animal they wish to fantasize with. That means that there are certain animals that arouse them differently than others, and there are animals that arouse them to the point that they create an actual sexual course with them. And number 3, erotic orientation. People decide with what type of animal they wish to have sex with. Just like us as human, we have some kind of points that stand out from other people, and those points decide whether or not we want to be sexually involved with them. In this case, zoophiles decide on certain points with the animals. That can be either their height, their gender, their age, how much fur they have, and so many other things. Orientation towards animals continued. There is a majority of men and women who have decided to have sex with animals because of their wish to demonstrate and express their affection towards the animal. Women and men have stated that they will not allow other people to have sex with their animals because they see them as mates. And people have also described feelings of love and jealousy for their animals. With all of that being said, it is clear and well known that the people who participate in zoophilia actually take the animals with an emotional view, you can say. That emotional view allows them to perceive that animal as if it were an actual mate, an actual human mate, and they decide to be involved with an animal instead of another human. Fantasies with animals. Majority of people involved with zoophilia reported having some form of sexual fantasies about having sex with animals prior to their first sexual encounter. That means that they have actually processed the idea, they were thinking it through, and they somehow came to the conclusion that it was acceptable and there was something that they needed to do to figure out if they actually wanted it or not. Other fantasies including watching other humans have sex with the animals as well. Erotic views. Being sexually attracted to the animal is typically the main reason for people's motives for sexual relations with the animals, meaning that there are certain kinds of animals that somehow arouse other people. The animals can be dogs, they can be horses, they can be any kind of animal. It is not specific to a certain kind. And the majority of people within the study have expressed the fact that they did not want to stop having sex with animals, mostly because zoophilia was part of who they were and they were okay with it. Meaning that even though the idea of being involved sexually with an animal was seen as morally wrong, they still wished and they still opt to keep on performing sexual intercourse with the animals, even though they knew it was not going to be acceptable, and they are okay with society thinking that it's not okay for them to be performing such acts with other animals. Conclusion: the sexual orientation of people is not always well defined. It's not understood, and it's not even recognized. However, it is safe to assume that there are different kinds of sexual interests for people, one of them being sexually attracted towards animals, being called zoophilia, which describes the individuals who are in love with animals along with sexual fantasies and even perform sexual acts with the animals as well. My reference was provided by the UHD library website. It was a study done by Miletsky Hen, and thank you for your time.